Hello, if you've never watched my videos before, my name is Josh and I modify old cars and that's all I've done for a long time. And this is not my car, but it is a customer's car. This is what I do for a living, is make stuff like what you're about to see in this video come to reality. Now, if you've known of me for a long time, I'd say my speciality is taking something that looks a bit rough around the edges and just basically prettying it up, making it look really nice. And luckily I'm in the position where I'm able to do that to this car, which is good fun. Here it is. So it's an R32 Skyline. It's an RB20, I believe. Now, I don't know much about Skylines, but the lad that owns this told me that this is a GTR front end. These headlights are the more sought after, and the parts that we've got for this car are going to make this car look really good. I'll go over them. He's already got some tasteful things done to it. Recaro, bucket seat, Nardi. It's got a little drift button, all these little gauges. That is a Blitz boost gauge there, which is awesome. Comes with a little toll reader. This is obviously an import from Japan last year, I believe. Yeah, so the plan is the wheels are going. We're putting new coilovers on. It's getting extended control arms, front and rear, I believe, and it's getting air cups. So air cups are something that I enjoy. Now, if you don't know much about air cups, basically the air cups, what they allow you to do is when you get to a bump, you can lift the car up, get over the bump, drop it down and carry on with the rest of your life. So you're not supposed to drive on these air cups. You're supposed to just drive over the bump and continue on, and then drive at a static ride height the whole time. Now that allows you to have good handling, good spring rates, etc., which airlift won't provide. Now, I have air cups on this. This is my 1984 Toyota Mark II. This car has air cups on it. 26k spring rates on the front, 20k rear. The coilovers are from an S15 because you can't get anything for this car in the UK. Check my other videos, I do speak about this car quite a lot, but this is running air cups and honestly it's the best thing that I've ever done out of any suspension setup ever. I'm a big fan of the air cups. So yeah, R32 is getting the air cups and it's actually getting these works. I'm absolutely spoiled here. So these are S1? Workmeister S1? I don't know. Brand new from Driftworks. They've all got tyres. This is a square setup. I believe they are 18 by 10 all round, which is pretty aggressive for that car over there, which is, it's going to look really good. And I'm pretty stoked to be able to do this. This is cool. So yeah, I'm going to pull it in and start ripping it apart and start measuring up for the boot build, for the air cups. And yeah, get it all on. This video is going to be like from start to finish, stock to fully finished, so that's what you're going to see in this video. So as you can see, we've got the car up on the ramp already now. So, you know, these cars are usually pretty rotten. But I look at these bits on every Jap car and they are dissolved. And this car is like, just new, man. Someone's jacked up on the sill here, which is normal, but it's completely bone dry. So this is like mental, really. Like, this car is really clean. A paint job and all this stuff we're about to do on it is going to transform it. When you're doing like a stance car sort of thing, the one thing you want to make sure is that your sump is either protected or raised. And this already has a sump guard, which is awesome. Stoked on that because that means that won't be a problem in future. So if you look up here, he's already fitted one of the uppers already. They're adjustable. We're changing the lowers and the coilovers are being changed for some HSDs, which I'll show you now. Right, so I'll show you some of the bits and bobs that we got here. So this is the upper control arm that I just showed you in the previous video. So this is obviously fully adjustable. It's pretty crazy. I've never worked on a Skyline, and you know, I've never seen an adjustable arm look like that. It's pretty strange. I assume it does caster as well as camber at the same time. So this car's going to need a full alignment afterwards. Not something that I can do here, but it will be something that I can get done for the gent. So yeah, we've got lower control arms here. These are laser cut. They look like a nice piece. I believe these are from GK Tech as well. Obviously rose joints on there. They do come with these neat little rubber boots that will go over the top of them, which is awesome really. You don't really see that sort of thing, so that's a nice piece that'll be going on. So we get a lot of front camber there. Have a brand new set of HSDs, fully adjustable dampening, all that stuff. So yeah, that's a nice piece. This should make the car decent to drive. And then we have this setup. So this is obviously the front coilover, I believe, with the air cup. Now the air cup is made by Stance Parts, and I believe that's a company in Poland. Don't quote me on that, but that's pretty much the generic air cup that you'll see from everyone. Everyone fits these. I've got Roberta on mine. They're from Japan. They're a little different, a little bit more expensive than these, but these seem to work just fine, and a lot of people seem to work well with them. So you take this off, I'll show you. If you see here, this blue bit, obviously when you put pressure in from the tank, goes through here, and that will push that blue bit out to here, and what that's basically doing is taking out any slack on the car, and it will basically lift the car up to 2 inches. So the easiest way to explain it is your car is completely static, and when you let the car off the jack, and your car will drop, and then you'll see how low your car is. So that drop is what this takes out. So this will push all of that drop out of the strut, and then your strut will be lock solid, and there'll be no movement. So that's why you're not supposed to drive them at full height. Otherwise, these break the seals and break everything. Apparently, I've never broke one, so I don't know actually what happens, but that's what they say, and that's what you're supposed to do. Obviously, you get a tank and a compressor, so I'll show you that. It's connected already. So you get a little tank. So yeah, check valve, pressure gauge, or pressure sensor, sorry. You get a tiny little compressor. It's the cutest little compressor I've ever seen. Look at that, so cute. And yeah, you get all the lines, wiring loom, etc, etc. One on each corner. And that's all going on the car in this video. So, I guess I'm gonna start. Right, I've ripped all the front end off, the other control arm is off, and I got the one that Matt had already fitted, which is fine. I'm gonna just make sure they're exactly the same before I put them on, because sometimes getting into these little areas is quite annoying. So hopefully that's all good. Right, so I thought I'd video this. So basically I got the air cups on. They come with 2 different types of fittings. I don't know if this is gonna be a bad time when I get to the back, but these are the front coilovers, and I've gone for the shallower, more tight air fittings, because obviously on the front your steering is going to be like this, so the tighter you can get your lines out of the way of anything ever protruding, the better. So the airline's pointing down, that should go tuck nicely down the chassis somewhere. But people seem to get confused with the air cup setup and how I set them up. So this is how I'm going to tell you how to set them up. You can do it your own way, but this is what I've learned. So I've basically got the coilovers bottomed out as low as they will go now. So there's no slack in the spring, there's nothing. Now, that's not good for us at the minute. We need to bring some slack in, otherwise these air cups are not going to do any justice. So, at the minute, this is as low as the strut will go. So if I adjust this part of the strut like this, that is in turn going to raise the car. So if we put these on while they were bottomed out and that was the perfect ride height, we'd want to obviously adjust this, say, so that's like an inch there. Now lock that off there, and then we will then want to bring the car back down to its normal height so we can put some slack back in here. So yeah, basically you want to put this spring perch lower to the same point as which it just was. So they were just touching each other before. I've lowered it an inch, so that gives us an inch worth of droop, and we haven't lost any ride height during that process. So now we have an inch of droop, so we're definitely going to get an inch of height out the air cups. Now the rest of the height should come out of the spring compressing. I don't know what spring rate this is, but when the weight of the car comes down and these springs squash to about an inch, let's say, we will then be able to get the full 2 inches out of this whole strut. So if you get a bit worried about the droop like that, don't worry, it absolutely does not matter. In my opinion, what I've learned over the past is that that actually does absolutely nothing for this type of coil spring. So I'm going to say that is set as a guideline, and then obviously it's going to be more trial and error to make sure we get the right ride height, but then also get the correct amount of droop in the air cups. It's confusing, but just stick with me and it will make sense. Luckily, I forgot I got a compressor, so I can show you literally exactly what's going to happen. So, obviously there's some slack here, as we described. That strut is bottomed out. Yep, the cup is all the way up here, the blue bit, and then try to get a good video of this. So when I put some air into here, that blue bit is going to come out here and then press the spring, and the spring is going to compress. There you go. HSTs are in, upper control arms are back in, the lower control arms are in. I had to push the ball joints into them and it was an absolute pain, but we're good. Started running the airlines, the little grommet goes through there, it comes along here, there's a T-piece there, and that goes straight to the back of the car. Now that is a small tank, but I did want to mount it at the back there, but this gentleman has a strut bar, so I can't put it there. So I've resorted to make a template which is going to slip in here. It can just fit, the tank's going to sit there, compressor's going to sit there, the solenoid's going to sit there, and the airline's going to go up around there and then down here. Going to make it out of some MDF. This is some 9mm, that'll do. And then I've got some stretched carpet on the way. So the template's made, traced out onto the MDF. I'm going to do some YouTube magic here. There you go. So what we've got there is the stance parts tank on there, compressor there, everything's hidden underneath this extra bit of carpet, all wired in, everything's underneath there. This is velcroed in, which is not going anywhere, that's moving the whole car. All the wire goes above there, goes down behind this little cover, and then shoehorn the tiny little buttons into there. See if we can turn the ignition on. Oh, battery's off. Yeah, got these buttons in here. That was a bit of a nightmare. There was already a hole drilled in the middle, so that's why there's a hole in the middle. We've got there, that's the front, that's all the way up, and then we've got the rear there. If we look here now, that's tight, no pressure on there. The kit is very universal, I'll say. So making it look pretty is a bit hard because they got all these fittings on the top of the tank, which I don't like. I'd prefer if everything went down, you know, and you could hide it underneath something, but for this application, this is plenty enough. That Velcro, I didn't want to drill into the floor for no reason. So, you know, that's fine. That moving the whole car when I do that. So that's tidy. Stretch carpets on. Jobs are good. Obviously, it's dark outside now, so all I've got to do now to this is basically get the wheels on, make them work, make them turn, and just button everything up, basically. There's going to be a lot of up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down to get the fitment correct. But that's the aim of the game. So I'll continue on this tomorrow. Man, that light is really bright, isn't it? Not so bright anymore. I fixed it. Got a different screen protector on my phone, so I don't have that white blob anymore. So next day, obviously, just been doing a few bits and bobs, buttoning this up. The kit we had didn't come with the bolts for the tension rod. So I just got these nylocks. I haven't got any washers at the minute, so that is temporary. So don't come for me that. But yeah, everything's done up. I need to get it straight. So this wheel's like pretty much straight there. And if you look at this, yeah, there's some extra lock there. Now, obviously these are extended quite a bit, it seems. That is massively over. I might need to wind it in. It only came out 2 turns on the joint, so I might have to pull it in as far as it can go, but it doesn't even look like there's a lot of camber there. As long as there's enough length in this track rod end, then I should be able to even it out. Okay, unfortunately, that's sort of straightish now, and we've only got 3 turns into here, which is annoying. So we're going to try and find a longer track rod end or a longer track rod or an extender that goes in the middle. Not too sure. I'm sure GK Tech must sell them with these. You'd assume so. But there is a little bit of camber on there now. Gonna get the wheels on. Exciting part is finally here. They are close to the caliper. They look a little pokey. So, what there is hope for when we lower it down that the arm's going to pull it in quite a lot. It's currently facing sort of like dead straight, so when we let the car down, it should pull in drastically. Fingers crossed. It is a little pokey. Look at that. So, if you look down the car, that's about the same camber it's going to have. We'll see when we let the car down, but same again this side. I'm hoping it just sort of goes like that. Fingers crossed. If not, we're going to have to try and get some more camber on the top control arm. So, what we have here is quite the pokey setup. Ideally, we want a bit more camber on that. And we do need to come down more at the back. I see there's a big gap there. It's aggressive. Jesus. So that's going to look good like that. But the front, we need to try and dial in a bit more camber on the front, I'll be honest. I'll get the back lower and then I can see where the camber is on the rear. So once I've got the camber set on the back, I can sort of manipulate it to this. Because at the minute it's already got more camber on the front than it does the back, which is less than ideal, let's say. This side, the arch is obviously a lot further in and it's like pretty much touching the tyre. That needs hitting out with a hammer. Look, that's battered. We're here again. Machine to perfection. So if you look here on this one, we're just above the tyre. Now I want that to sit about here. So I'm gonna take about 20 mil out of that. And then hopefully once I've taken the 20 mil out and driven it, it'll be roughly where I want. Okay, I've been messing about with this and I've realized that it's literally sat on the bump stop. I assume that these coilovers are not really designed to go as low as this. So I'm gonna pull the strut out, take one of the locking rings out, take the bump stop and trim it down, and then hopefully we can get it about 10 mil lower than that and then get rid of the bump stop. But you know, we're using quite a lot of that shock, but we don't really want it to move much anyway. We want it to be stiff, but swings and roundabouts. But yeah, now pull the strut out, take one of those locking rings out and lock it off that way. Annoying. Cut a sliver off the bump stop, adjust the ring out, hopefully get us to the right stance we need and still have suspension travel. Hopefully. If not, then this shock, we need a smaller insert for the shock and then we can have travel again, which is annoying, but I'm sure that's something you can buy from HSD. I'm not too sure. I know you can buy it for BC, but it's just a shock bottoming out we don't want. Yeah, let's get it back in and see what happens. So, the front has gone lower now, 100%, but the issue is on the tyre. Now, the top arms are bottomed out, but there's extra locking nuts in there. So I'm gonna pull those off and try and get a bit more camber because that's not gonna cut it. However, I've done both the struts the same, and you know, this side is lower than this side. You know, we've got like a little tiny bit more room on this side, which is, this always seems to happen every time I'm building a car. This situation happens, and usually it's something to do with the back, but we've got pretty much exactly the same fitment both sides on the rear. This side's a little bit lower, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to play around with it a bit more, to be honest. What I'm going to do is pull the front camber arm out and try and get a bit more out of it. Again, this is the sort of thing you have to do with a stance car. You just, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, but I won't take it off the ramp until I'm happy with everything. I'm not going to go around down the road and smash it to a million bits, you know what I mean? I have a great job. I have such a good job. Look at this. Looks sick. So I got a little bit more camber on the front. Basically took the lock nuts out of the upper control arms. Now they've got a lock nut on either end. So basically you pull it all apart and then you can get the end of the control arm and you can wind it into it in the vise so it's locked solid so it don't turn, and then you can just lock it off with the other side. So that's the bonus of having a lock nut on either end, so you can just remove these, and then you've gained a good bit of stance. I'm gonna get the car off the ramp now, get it outside. We've still got some daylight, so I'm gonna take some pictures of it. I just want the springs to settle as well, so I can see how much they're gonna sink. Obviously I haven't rolled it backwards and forwards yet, so there's still movement for it to come. Obviously I've accounted for that in the height that I wanted it. So fingers crossed, it's all good. I don't have to raise it up like 30 mil. It should be all right. We're literally like tight. So yeah, driven it up here. Now it's rubbing on the bumper on this side. That side's rubbing on the bumper there when you're turning. It needs a stiffer spring on the front, 100%. The back seems okay, but I'm not driving it anywhere until the track rod ends are done. So there's a bit of fettling to do. It needs to come up a little bit on the front anyway, but yeah. It looks so good out there. He's bringing the side skirt tomorrow. Annoyingly, I've already taken pictures, but yeah, that looks so good. The car is, well, yeah, it definitely stands out. It's going to be such a cool car when it's all colour-coded and painted up nicely, because if you can see in the video, it's a little bit satin black, but I like it. I like it like this. Really cool car. Ex-missile car, to be fair. So this car used to be essentially just a drift car in Japan, and now look at it. It's awesome, man. So good. Now, it's far from done. I'd like to be able to completely finish it for him, but we haven't got the parts now, and the rest of the parts are coming from Australia, so it's going to be a while. But yeah, Matt can sort of finish the rest of that on his own. He should be pretty decent at that. I'll talk him through it, but it's only springs that really need changing, and it needs tracking, and it needs extended track rod ends, and that's literally about it really, and that car will be ready for the roads, which is awesome. It looks so good. Imagine Matt is literally 19 and all his mates have got like polos or something, and he's rocking around in this. I'm jealous. I'm really jealous, not gonna lie, but thanks for letting me work on it, I guess. Obviously the seat in this is absolutely tiny. I just can't sit in it. I'm just sat on top of it, but Matt's a lot smaller than me, and even he said it's tight. I'm going to show you the air cups in action. Now it's all on the floor, etc. So that's all the way up. Now, obviously, you can't really drive on it like this, but what you want to do is go over your bumps or get a jack underneath the car, and then you can carry on as you were. And obviously when you get to a bump, just air it out. Like so. Looks so cool. I didn't really do much, I just put it together, but Matt's got the recipe. This is all Matt's idea. I didn't do anything. This is all off his own back, and I am stoked on it. I wish this was my car, to be honest, but I'm just glad I get to do that every day. If you like videos like this, let me know and I'll do some more. And I want to do more stuff like this, because this was, I spent more time on it than I wanted to, but that's because I enjoyed it. You know, if Matt's gonna get the car tomorrow, I probably won't film anything of that, but this will probably be the end of the video. There's a little few teething issues to do, but you can see in the grand scheme of things, that car looks unbelievable. Stoked. If you like this video, let me know, and I'll do more of this sort of stuff in future. So like I say, I'm gonna try to do a couple more videos every now and then of customer work, and this is a customer car, so I'll do some more videos like that. Thanks for watching.